They talking for us. Oh, word. I've been hearing about that. I've been hearing about it.
Stupid.
I've been following I follow a comic book channel that he does both like DC and Marvel comics and shit. And so like I'll watch the videos that he posts about the Superman shit, DC shit.
Yeah. Yo, where's my weed tray? Hold on.
We are.
You good? You good? You good?
As we go live, boom.
Salutations, everybody. Hello, world. We are the Perspectives Pod live from the EO Zoom network. I am one of your hosts, Liddy Bro Flacko, and my other host over here to my right or your left or however you see it, Holden Stefan Roy is here with me. Say hi, Holden.
Hi, Holden.
Word. And today we got a very special guest, indie hip hop legend, battle rap legend, Team Hami founding member. I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying Def Jukes. Ninja. Ninja. Black belt. I don't want to disrespect your art. I don't want to disrespect your art. I was telling that to Holden earlier. I know you're a black belt. I don't know what the martial art name of it is. You know what I mean? So I don't want to disrespect. We'll get there. But we have Swave Sevah, Harlem legend in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How you doing? How your mama doing? How your lady doing? Tell them all I said hi.
That was very friendly of you. That by the way, though, felt a little lightweight disrespectful, which I expect, right?
No,
I was watching. I forget what it was that I was watching. Right? Oh, I was watching Moneyball. You ever seen that movie with Brad Pitt about when he's like the GM for the Oakland A's and shit, and like he helps out. He helps out this young pitcher that like pitches awkwardly, and the kid is clearly really religious, and so he like stops him and he's like, "Yo, thank you so much." And he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna be praying for you and your family." And I was like, I stopped the movie right there. I was like, "Yo, that is high key disrespect." I don't know how I would feel if a dude says that to me. I'm like, "Yo, what do you mean? You're gonna pray for me and my family, fam? You don't gotta pray for nobody. I'm gonna take care of this right now because that feels like the vengeance is coming. Something is coming behind that. You know what I mean?
Man, it's like you can take that both ways, though.
I've been around too much of New York shit, and I've never like enthralled myself I've never allowed the religious side of my family to like be a part of me. So like. It figures that I would have that attitude towards that.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean? Like, that's all that is. That's my own energy and my own animosity towards religion. Yeah. I'd feel bad afterwards. Like, damn, I made this guy feel bad. And he really was just praying for my family. That's that demon in me.
Dutch. Here's some holy shit that should start going crazy. Like, hey, yo, what's going on? Listen, that's borderline disrespectful. Word.
Yo. So, Swave, so the way that we usually start this show, right, is like I give everybody like a little crash course on the show's our origin story, you know what I mean? And so you know, I was doing the Liddy Bros project last year, and the dude that engineered and mixed down the whole project is a homie from Montreal, right? And so he worked on it, but like the home of Merker Miyagi, by the way, Merker Studios, and he should be from New York. Like he's from Montreal via Cali, right? But he might as well be from New York, where he has that typical New York engineer attitude, right? Where like he does not promote the shit that he works on at the studio, right? Because you open Pandora's box, as soon as you promote one, you got to start promoting everybody. Everybody gonna be like, hey, but what about me? You know what I mean? And so he doesn't usually do that. And so he promoted our shit. And Holden, who's also from Montreal and likes to support like his fellow Montrealians, as I've been calling them.
That's a good one. I like that.
He perked up because he's like, oh, I've been paying attention to Merker, and he don't ever promote shit that he works on. And he promoted this with like a word positivity, so he checks it out. And he actually does album reviews, was doing album reviews and shit. And so he like naturally just like wanted to do a review on the music. And then we did an interview together. And after we did the interview together, like I felt like I went to therapy and shit. Like I was like, yo, why have I done so many interviews and like being an indie artist all these years? But like I never got asked some of these questions that is just like, why do we always ask these typical shit and we don't talk about like our lives and shit? You know what I'm saying? Outside of like rapping or how we came to rapping.
So like, some people don't even like talk about their personal life. So a lot of interviews just be typical standard questions. You know what I mean?
Standard shit.
It'd be safe questions. You know
that's a safe thing to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so I immediately was a typical me, right? Hood ass motherfucker, and like I'm like I find something that I like. I'm like, oh, I gotta put all the homies on this shit. You know what I mean? Right. So I was like, why don't we do a series together where like I bring some of the homies that I know, and we sit down and have a conversation. You know what I mean? And this show was born. Originally, it was called Bridge the Gap. Now we changed the name to Perspectives. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's how the show came to be. And so usually he has his like all like questions that he knows that he wants to ask and shit. But like I've been interjecting with like shit that I feel like we should be doing as like running a show, no matter how casual we do it, which is like, yo, why don't you introduce yourself to the people and tell them where you're from and where your family's from.
Me, myself, and I?
Yes, you, yourself, and I.
Hold on. Yes. Listen, I'm doing an interview. All the daddy, the questions about to stop to after this. So this is the last question. What's up? After the interview, there'll be no going to the park. It'll be too late for that. And it's too hot. But I think it's something else. All right, listen. Back to y'all, right?
Greatest dad moment ever captured on camera on our show. That was amazing.
You handled that like a boss. That was amazing.
My name is Swave Sevah. I'm from Harlem, USA. It's a little hood inside of New York. It's in Manhattan, but we don't really we Harlem, right? Mm-hmm. What else was the question? Where I'm from?
Where your family from?
My family is from, well, my father, rest in peace, he's from Detroit, Michigan. And my mom, she from Harlem. She from Harlem. You know what I mean?
All right.
And that's just what it is. I'm from New York. We from the States.
Generational Harlem though is like, you know what I mean? Like that's something that means something. Like especially nowadays, I think that people are starting to realize what it means a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like especially now that like a lot of old shit is like getting done, and like the history of Harlem is like being shown on the camera. Like Chadwick Boseman's last movie, right? Like he was they were depicting like a recording happening in Harlem and shit. You know what I mean? And like artists from Harlem and whatnot. Like so, yeah. Beautiful.
So yeah, with that though, and it's really cool that you set that context because we do have a good conversation opener question. It's a little bit of a story. I like to ask it because it just goes in all kinds of directions after, and you can take it where you want. But what's really important is that it's gonna be in Harlem. And this whole thing starts with my girlfriend, and she's washing the dishes one time. And she's playing that Black Eyed Peas song on her phone. That I got a feeling. Woo. She's
Love that
fucking
song.
vibing. She's dancing. She's doing her thing, but she's washing the dishes. So start thinking about this, right? Like, when did this song become chores music? Like this song in particular for us, right? So like I'm thinking about it. Like this is some shit that people are putting on when they're exercising, when they're bored, and they want to bring their mind back into that place of fun times. Because about 10 years ago, I could vividly remember being up and about in bars and clubs and shit, super drunk, dancing in circles to that same very song. and its role in our lives was like the epitome of going out and having a wonderful fucking time. And then 10 years goes by, and that same very song for us has become chores music and exercise music and all this other stuff. And I was like, wow, that's like crazy. That song hasn't changed, but its relationship in our life has evolved from this other one purpose into something completely different. And then I started thinking about all them 20-year-olds dancing to Cardi B's and fucking all that right now. And I'm like, yo, they have no idea that this is their future chores music. They just don't even know what's coming, which amused me a little bit. But then I found out it's just chores music now. Like, we just took club music and made it chores music. That's just kind of what happened as we got older with our lives. Now everyone's a little bit different. But the main takeaway is that like this stuff's almost like on a journey with some evolution going on. And as time goes on, the relationships change and the environment of the music changes and evolves into something completely different. And then I was thinking about ourselves, and we're all on our own musical journeys. And over time, our musical journeys evolve as well, right? So like when we think about this stuff, and as you guys said in the interviews, they're often very like stock with the questions, but we often end up in this place where we start talking about life in the adolescent eras when we form our own identities and we start attaching ourselves to particular things. But that's not really the beginning of the story at all. That's not when our journey of music starts. It really just starts from like the day we're born, because there's likely going to be music in some level in the different environments in your life from the beginning of your memories. Like I can remember being 4 or 5 years old, and my dad had these gray boxes around the apartment, the amplifier and the tape deck and the radio and these wires going out to speakers and shit. And we'd be playing the Led Zeppelin tapes, and at night we got that 90s techno music blasting from the clubs of Montreal direct to us. Like my mom's was in discos and musicals and stuff I wasn't as into, so it was less impactful. I remember at Christmas time we had this EDM Christmas jam fucking remix album, and it was only at present time that we would do it. Like all these different memories and emotions that kind of set this context for like the rest of my life, you know? So I was hoping you could take us back to the youngest Swave Sevah you can remember being and walk us a little bit through what it was like to like sounded like to be you before you had any real control over the musical environment.
Yeah, you walked me through a whole life story to get to that right there. That's
Yeah.
And my man, hey yo, this nigga look like Iron Solomon too, B.
Yeah.
This nigga like Iron Solomon twin brother, B.
Yeah. I that is
hey,
a
yo,
fact.
for the rest of the interview, I'm gonna call you Ryan Solomon. This nigga Iron twin brother. Hey yo, son. All right, so listen.
Yo, Swave, you stupid.
Hey yo, listen.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong. We literally when we first, before you get to his way, right? When we first started doing this, he didn't ever watch no battle rap like that. So when Iron was one of the first people that we interviewed. When he sees a picture of Iron, he's like, yo, I kind of look like this guy. Or this guy looks like me.
Well, when I shared the picture, but like when I shared the picture of like the thumbnail, there were people who thought it was myself that I was sharing. I'm like, no, that's Iron. Like, and it's like, yo, it was felt like I've never seen somebody so uncannily similar in appearance.
Y'all niggas about to be the next Step Brother movie, part 2. Wrestling over turntables instead of a drum set and shit. Hey yo, but listen, Swave Sevah, right?
Right.
I keep it real. Me growing up young, I always been in tune with music, but you know, growing up, I was heavy in the martial arts. So before I decided that I wanted to be a rapper, I was in the dojo most of the time. You know what I mean? I was, you know what I mean, training. So my early years consisted of that. And, you know, music, I got an older brother and all that who was in a rap group called X-Town Posse. And they was like the first rap group to actually have a deal from my block. The lead rapper of the group, he was like an older brother to me named Delic, rest in peace, he passed away, but he taught me how to rhyme. He taught me how to rhyme, he taught me how to load guns, how to cook crack. He taught me a bunch of shit, street shit. And that was like my first, I call that nigga my hip hop tutor type shit. He told me how to count bars.
Sounds like he was the concierge to the streets for you.
You know, that's exactly what he was. I used to write rhymes, right, and then go kick it to him, and he used to be like, nah, you're not ready. And that used to infuriate me. Like, yo, what, nigga? You know what I mean? Write another rhyme. Yo, check this out. You're not ready. Like, I used to have a goal when I was little, right? They used to have these park jams. I live across the street from a park, my Morris Park in Harlem, right? Back in the days. They used to have these park jams where they used to have the system out, the extension cord tied to the light pole, attached to the, you know what I mean, electricity from the light pole, niggas out there, and they would jam, and everybody be in the park jamming, and after a while, they would have this breakbeat segment where niggas just grab the mic and start rhyming, and the nigga Delic was always the lead nigga, like he was always the main nigga, everybody waiting for Delic to rhyme, right? And at one point when I was young, I told myself, one of these days, I'm gonna do that shit. I'm gonna get up in the park and I'm gonna rap. And because I used to see how the crowd used to go crazy, and I used to be like, yo, one of these days, that's gonna be me. And I used to always try, Delic, yo, here it is. Nah, you're not ready. So one day I wrote some shit and I kicked it to him. And I ain't even hear the, you're not ready. I remember holding my head down rapping, and when I stopped, I looked up and his mouth was like, and that shit was just like, okay. He was like, yo, who wrote that? When he said that, I said, I wrote it. He was like, nah, you ain't write that. So that was my indication that, okay, boom. So then he gave me a topic. He tested me. He gave me a topic to write about. He said, yo, write about passing all your grades. So I
How
said,
old were you when this was going on? Like, if I may ask.
13. You feel me?
Right, so
12, 13. So he like, write about passing all your grades. So I wrote a rhyme about getting A's, right? And then I kicked it to him. And then he was like, yo, you really did write that.
I like that you was getting A's back in the days.
Nah, I wasn't getting A's. But he told me to write a rhyme about it. You feel me? And he gave me a topic. I said, give me a topic. He said, write about getting A's, getting straight A's. So I wrote a rhyme about getting straight A's, just to prove to him that I wrote it. That, like, you gave me a topic, I went, wrote about it, came back, I kicked it.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, shit, you did write that. I'm like, yeah. So from then on, I went to the park. And that first, that was it for me. Oh, when I got that crowd reaction, I'm nice, nigga. That was the birth of Swave Sevah right there. That was the birth of, I wasn't even Swave Sevah. I always been Swave, but my rap name was Bizarro from, you know, the superheroes, the fake Superman nigga back in the, I'm a comic book nigga.
Oh,
so
that's hilarious.
So, and Lyrical Kid, that was another one. You know, when you kid, you know, you got that lyrical somewhere in there. Lyrical Kid.
I named myself Carnage Page at one point. Nobody called me that
like,
shit.
No.
The homies all refused to call me that shit. They were like, we're never gonna call you Carnage Page, bro. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like,
yo, as I got older, man, I was going by Lyrical Kid, and then my man Delic, rest in peace, he told me, yo, so how long you plan on being a kid? And that shit was like, boop. Oh, that name gone. You know what I mean? Like, you're right. Yeah. And I'm not gonna be a kid forever. Yeah. So all that Lyrical Kid, all that kid shit in a name. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't understand how all these niggas call themselves Lil. Like if you over 6 feet, your name Lil something, you the dweeb, nigga. Fuck out of here.
I mean, it might be Swave. It might be ironic. You know what I mean? Like when Tiny Listen. You know what I mean? Like where you really big, but you tiny. You know, everybody calls you tiny.
We too many lows in the game now, nigga. Fuck, I understand if you 5'4". All right, cool. You 5'3", 5'1". All right, cool.
You talking about like Lil Zane?
Yeah,
like
Zane,
okay, I get it.
Nigga like 6 feet, nigga. Fucking calling yourself Lil. I don't even know if he's 6 feet. Don't give me
Lil Zane, I think is Lil. I think he was like Tupac, like short. Right, you know what I mean?
Man.
And like
little niggas.
So it makes sense for him. Okay, so Lyrical Kid and you're 12. Bizarro. First name.
Damn,
first name.
So Bizarro's the one.
No, but that's dope,
right?
yo. That is very dope,
and
yo.
I stole that from Superman, the fake Superman with the fucked up name was Bizarro. That's what I got it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not Superman, but I'm like the nigga on it. You know what I mean? Like I'm like evil Superman. Like, yeah. I don't know what I was thinking as a kid, but you know, you had that imagination type shit.
Yeah, no, I mean that's part of like being young is like, you know what I mean? Like you want to incorporate. That's kind of what I think what made us all love Wu-Tang so much is that they all rapped about so much like Peter Parker, you know what I mean? Like Tony Starks and like all this like it almost felt like they were making themselves out to be superheroes. You know what I mean? So like,
Yo, remember the Wu-Tang video game? That shit was fire. Remember that shit?
Wait. Oh wait,
I do not remember
they had
that
their
shit.
own game.
But
yeah,
feel free to elaborate on
game,
this shit.
I was gonna say the Def Jam Vendetta, but nah, they had their own fighting game. Yeah, nah, they did. They had their own Wu-Tang fighting game. Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Like a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, kind of like a Mortal Kombat 2, Def Jam Vendetta,
it was like the Def Jam game, but it was just Wu-Tang members.
Yeah.
And they had
the controls were a little bit more complicated. Controls were a little bit more complicated. You know what I mean? Like it was a little bit more clunky, but it was like you were a Wu-Tang fan. Like, of course you was gonna cop it. Of course you were gonna fight as Method Man with Raekwon. You know,
they ain't like
Ghostface Chef.
Need to be a game.
You know,
let me pick Ghostface Killer, nigga.
Facts.
Nobody's brought up the Wu-Tang video game. Frankly, nobody talks about video games that much on this show at all. And I imagine more people played video games than they're willing to admit back in the day.
Not a lot of people have talked about comic books as much either. Like Swave Radio was opening up over here, like holding up a whole
I'm a little well versed in all. I play video games. My comic book knowledge is through the roof. Like,
and you a black belt.
Like, that's crazy.
Yo, no, but even to that end. So when you're like 13, you've been doing martial arts this whole time as well, right?
Yeah, I got my first black belt at like 14 years old. Not 14 years old.
That's huge.
So, and you started at what age did you start?
4.
4. Wow. That's crazy. And what could you walk us through that a little bit? Like why was how was it that
my pops? I grew up with a sensei in a house.
Okay, you see, so that makes more sense now that you was.
You know, I mean, my first teacher was my pops. He actually used to teach me, my sisters, everybody in the house at one point. You know what I mean? So, you know, I grew up with that kind of discipline instilled in me because that's what he was. So, you know. Like father, like son type shit. And
it's like all the musician ones, except this time it's the martial arts one. Because we've had people like, yo, my dad's fucking a musician, so I became a musician at like 4.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what though? You know, if you read up to on statistics, they say that 75 to 80% of men wind up becoming what their fathers was.
What their fathers do. Yeah, absolutely. So, I used to look down on my father, like because right, I didn't know no better, right? Like, so I thought that like him working like a superintendent job is like, yo, there's got to be better. Corporate is way better. Like, go downtown Manhattan, work in an office building, get paid, you know, for sitting in a lofty office, way better. And then now, like, I'm a fucking stagehand, like full time, and like that's like really like not like I'm working with my hands, and like I admire and respect his work ethic so much more now. You know what I mean? Like
that happened accidentally on purpose type shit. You know what I mean? I know my nigga Randy, he don't even fuck with his father. He's exactly what his father do. His father's a PA. His father works on movie sets. And my nigga Randy does that now too. And he don't even fuck with his pop. And it's crazy that you in the exact same field for a nigga that wasn't even really in your life like that. But that's exactly what he did. And you do it too. So it ain't like you was looking at him doing it. You just happen to go into that field because you enjoy it. I think that shit is kind of passed down. I don't know, B. I think
it's
once you become something, I know it's gonna sound crazy, but I think it kind of stain your genes or somehow, and it get passed down because once you've been in something for so long, it becomes part of you, B. You know what I mean?
I think scientists have said that, like, you know, right, like they talk about like all the traumas of our ancestors, right, are in our genetic makeup code. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like it's like we didn't live through it, but that's why as humans even, right, we know fire is hot pretty early in life without even needing to actually put your hand on any fire, because your ancestors all went through enough putting their hands in fire and realizing, oh shit, fire's hot.
Yeah, we
so
all
like
you
don't need to do it. You know what I mean? So like
something like super nifty with the like what you find fun, right? I feel like in a lot of ways we just kind of pursue the things in life that we enjoy, and in a lot of ways, like, yo, I can remember being young and my dad was into certain things, and I wanted to be cool like him when I was like 6. So I became fascinated with video games and other things. He was into reading and whatnot, and all these habits. And then all this time later, it's like, yeah, I guess it makes sense that I'd end up, whatever, he doesn't work. But if he did work, it'd probably be the kind of shit I do. So it's like, yeah, I see what you're saying. But a lot of it is those like 5-year-old habits that we establish. Yeah, that's mad nifty.
Young in life.
You went through that like grind through martial arts. Was it like a lot of martial arts, or was it like a particular?
I mean, it had to be, bro. 4 to 14. It took him from 4 to 14 to get his black belt. So it's not like he got some bullshit black belt after 2 years. You know what I mean? Like his
it didn't stop there. That was just the first black belt. Like I got 3 of them. So it's like it wasn't. That was just my first time stepping over that hump. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I got a black belt now. Boom. Does it stop here? Nah, let's move on to something. Oh, shit, I want to... Like, martial arts is different to me. I look at martial art as one big jigsaw puzzle. And there's an overall picture that every martial artist dreams of seeing one day. Every martial artist wishes to connect enough pieces of this puzzle to see what the puzzle puts together. And I think to do that, you have to connect your pieces. Each discipline is a different puzzle piece. And most martial artists in the world never content with learning one discipline. I never met a martial artist that just learned, unless they beginners or something, like still white belts or yellow belts, and they still doing just Taekwondo. But once niggas become black belts, I never knew let me put it like this, I don't know a black belt that just learned one discipline. I don't know one. And me, myself, I got Taekwondo, Shotokan, Shorin-Ryu, I got Kempo, I got a bunch of different, little Krav Maga, like I studied a lot, you know what I mean? Just to connect my pieces to become like an ultimate warrior type shit, I guess you could look at it. But at the end of the day, it's a big picture that I'm trying to get to. It's a fluidity thing. Like Bruce Lee probably had the clearest picture out of any martial artist. This nigga seen shit before it happened. You know what I mean? The name of his style, Jeet Kune Do, translates to intercepting fist. Like he's already intercepting your shit before you hit him. Like this nigga is different. You know what I mean? So that's a picture that he painted. That's a picture that he put together for you to see. And that's like the dream of any martial artist. So that's how I look at it. So I don't think my puzzle's complete.
I've never heard that in my life, but that was riveting. I'm so glad you shared that. Thank you.
Facts though.
Like that was
cool. So your father started you on what style though? Like that?
Shotokan.
Shotokan.
That's my foundation. That's my baby. Shotokan was the very first discipline I received a black belt in.
Work.
So basically, at that time, then you started rapping. You impressed the people in the park. You went through the name changes, and you bang out the black belt. So by 14. You're already a songwriting fucking black belt, which is heavy accomplishments for a 14-year-old. I'm just gonna throw that out there, my guy.
Yeah.
That's fucking.
You know why I never even looked at it like that, but yeah.
No, big facts.
Songwriting. I don't know if I was a songwriter. I just had a lot of sporadic verses.
I mean, back then though, right? Like that was technically speaking, like those were still songs back then. Like there were songs of like people just rapping with no hook.
I have not yet recorded a verse. I have not yet recorded a full-on song at this point in my life.
That's very fair.
I didn't record a song until I was senior in high school, or probably after I graduated high school. Is when I
you really writing shit on topic though.
In the studio and went in a booth and actually put vocals to a beat. Like that was probably after high school or during my senior year of high school. But for 13, 14 years old, I was just writing. I had a notebook full of just raps everywhere, long raps. I ain't really know how to count bars well, so I have raps that will go on front and back of the page. You be reading this shit, then you flip the page, like, and you still, you know what
I
mean?
My OGs tried to explain bars to me, and I was just like, word. And I just kept on writing.
Remember the Trapper Keepers? I had a Trapper Keeper full of raps and all that, B.
I look at it like, having looked at back in time, there's a lot of music of that era that is just that. Guys who wrote really long verses and just rapped them. And then maybe they put a break. Maybe they didn't. I'd call that
hook.
A
songwriting
lot of
enough.
times they
A
didn't.
hook. What the hell is a hook? That's what we
A lot
do.
of times
A
they
hook.
didn't.
What's that? You ain't got no hook. Rest in peace, my brother Delic. I used to kick all these long-winded raps. And he used to be like, yo, you ain't got no hooks. And I used to be like, what the fuck is the hook? Like a hook. And he used to play songs, right? Like I was a Big Daddy Kane fan. So he used to play Big Daddy Kane and then the verse, and then they get to the ain't no half step. And he'd be like, that's the hook. And I'd be like, oh, so for a while, a lot of my verses had the little you know what I mean? Like I was just trying to, you know what I mean? Probably not the same words, but I would just have that same bounce. Like, and then he was like, yo, you can't keep doing that every song. So I ain't really know how to do hooks. Like, that's why I'm like, songwriter, I don't know. But I had just wild raps and punchlines and wild shock value bars type shit.
I love
Yo,
dude. That's amazing. Great answer.
Right.
I mean, it's honest. I bet a lot of people had that exact same conversation about hooks, and a lot of people just don't want to say it. So,
yeah. Now, I mean, I think that's most of like the homies, right? Like we grow up like just learning to rap, bro. You know what I mean? In the street, like so. It's not like nobody's like schooling us on like music and like song structure and shit like that. You know what I mean? And then back then,
I learned rap. I think it's because of how I learned rap. Because I looked up to like Big Daddy Kane and G-Rap, but they was like celebrities to me. They was people that I thought I would never see just on TV. My brother Delic and them actually rapped and had a record deal, and I was seeing them every day. So they was like my heroes. You understand me?
Word.
And I used to see Delic. I ain't see him really recording. Although I heard his album and I still got the shit, I ain't see him doing it. I saw him rapping in the parks. So it wasn't song structured in the parks. So when I thought about rapping, I'm rapping to mimic what I saw in the parks. I wasn't rapping to mimic what I heard him doing in the booth. You understand me? I wasn't rapping to mimic Big Daddy Kane or in the song. I was rapping to do. My goal was to wow them niggas in the park. That was my goal. Yeah, I'm gonna wow these niggas. When they pass me the mic in the park, everybody gonna fuck with me. Watch this. That's what I was thinking like that.
But on the real though, just to like back up what Flacko was just saying, you did just describe how like everyone's kind of laid out how they rap, only with a different framing that makes it be like, yo, that makes a lot of sense though.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I know I'm saying it like that because I know that's what I wrote. That's what was in my head whenever I wrote rhymes. The park. I used to like come up with a hot rap.
Yeah, you were trying to impress. You knew what the crowd was really starting to fuck with, and you were starting to try to appeal to the crowd by like writing things that you would know, like what my neighborhood, everybody in my neighborhood right now is fucking with X, Y, and Z, maybe sneaker or this movie right now or whatever, slang, is like local. And so you're crafting things to appeal to that crowd in particular.
Yo, my nigga, listen to me. I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? I wrote a rhyme back in the day. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Black girls call me daddy. Senoritas call me padre. Some young shit, right? I don't remember what goes after that, but that's how I started, right? And I couldn't wait to kick the shit in the park, right? And this the same year that Nasty Nas verse for Live at the Barbecue came out.
Word.
They played it in the park. And I heard that when I was 12, I went to hell for something, Jesus. I didn't even want to rap. I didn't even want to kick my rhyme. Like, you would have thought Nas was there and said it. Like, the DJ played that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo. And then they kept running it back. Everybody was going crazy over the verse. And I remember, that's how I remember Nas. I remember that was the first time I heard the nigga. I didn't even know his name. I knew his name because he said in the verse, but I didn't know him. I didn't know how he looked. I remember hearing that shit, and I said, I got to step my shit up. Niggas saying shit like that. Niggas said when I'm 12. And in my mind, I'm thinking he was 12 in the verse. Like, that's a 12-year-old spitting that? Later on, you realize he didn't say I was 12. He said when I was 12, I went to hell.
Yeah.
But in my head, when I first heard it, I'm like, yo, that's a 12-year-old? Oh, I gotta step my shit up. Like, nah, I ain't kicking nothing today.
Yeah, nah, that was one of those verses that like, it made a lot of people perk up like, yo, this is different. At the time, nobody was saying like, he was saying something right because like what made it controversial was like I went to hell for snuffing Jesus part, right? Like nobody was saying like some disrespectful.
Disciple, my
raps a trifle.
I shoot slugs for my brain.
My brain's just like a rifle.
He was like, damn, Pete, the stage. I need a microphone split. Play me Tuffy while I'm on some pretty tone like, shit. This nigga verse was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I thought it was a 12 years old at the time.
At that time, nobody had like really.
But he was
like,
even though he was still
complicated.
16. He was 16 when he.
Yeah, no, he was still young. He was still young when he wrote that shit. So, that's he gets the respect that he gets because he deserved it. He earned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
shit like that.
So
that's a whole fact. I can never
shit like that.
So if I understand, man, which is amazing because I've never heard somebody bring it up like that where they run it back. Honestly, I haven't gone to a lot of vibes where people run songs back until very recently, where a DJ was running the shit back, and I'm like, yo, that's a real thing people do. Whole different vibe that I'm used to.
No, it was just a feeling. I hear certain songs and it put me back into certain eras. Like, I can remember where I was when I first heard that verse. Nas, like I was at the Punks. I could remember. I could damn near remember what I had on. You know what I mean? Like that. It's one of those. It was one of those moments. Like the first time I heard Eminem, did the same shit to me. I thought he was black. You know what I mean? I heard him on a song with my man Shabam Sadiq, and he blacked on that shit. And I was like, yo, who the fuck is this? And when I found out he was white, like, it ain't really, but it was just so crazy to me when I found out he was white. Because at this time, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't think a lot of white rappers was that nice. Like, we had like third base. Yeah,
that's what it was.
You know what I mean?
Him being that nice is what I thought that he was Mexican.
When he got verse in the sauce, he got verse of the month in the sauce. They had a picture at the bar. I said, oh, this nigga the white boy. That's crazy, but
what I picked up, I picked up the Still Don't Give a Fuck single, and when it was just the picture of him out there on that pier, on that port or whatever out there, it was so distant that I couldn't see what he looked like, and the way he was dressed, I don't know, I just thought he was Mexican. I was like, yo, this dude's Mexican. This is the nicest Mexican to ever fucking spit a bar. Yo, this kid is fucking nice with it. Yeah. Nah, absolutely.
So, those are standout moments in hip hop to me that helped me form me as a writer as well. Because I used to hear they shit and like, oh nah, if niggas is rapping like that, then I need to step my pen up.
So basically, your teenage life is a lot of hearing these moments where you have to up your game and then trying to up your game and then improve your game.
Like that's what I love about my era. Period. I believe I come from an era where. Like, I don't really like the era of hip-hop now. It breaks my heart a little bit. I keep it real with you, because these little niggas are just copycats. And everybody, all these music sound alike, man. It's like, I can't tell the difference. I don't want to hate on the younger generation. I want them to do they do, you know what I mean? But it's just like, give me some variety, man. And that's why I still listen to my old shit. I still listen to my friends. I still listen to old school hip-hop. Because, this shit is just, everything sounds the same now. And I like my era because of the variety, because I can literally go through numerous different rappers and they will all give me a different sound that I like. You know what I mean? I love that about my era. This era, I pull out one rapper, pull out another rapper. These niggas beats sound alike, they rapping alike, the songs sound the same. Like, I can't do it, B. I can't tell these niggas apart.
I definitely think that on that subject, if you're in the world of mainstream and algorithms, that's facts. There is a lot of interesting stuff in the underground that I think you'd appreciate, but it's fucking high effort to find.
I mean,
that's the problem. I gotta go digging.
That's
I was gonna say because I know that Swave being with Team Hami and like him, I guess we'll get to this eventually, right? But like I know that because he runs with Immortal Tech and them, he's done plenty of shows with Griselda and them. So I know he knows them, you know what I mean? And like he don't gotta be educated on them. So like he knows they exist, but it's also I guess what you're saying is like when you look at radio and mainstream, you don't see a lot of offering of that type of like
and
hip
that's
hop.
super fair. I think that if you
Yeah,
look at the charts and if you try to like pick on who's
yeah,
popping based on sales, based on numbers, it really is a lot of sameness. But man, if there was a way to easily filter that next tier below it, there's a lot of great shit, but it's just again really hard to find, and I'll give you all the credit to that. Not simple,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's
And
out
you
there,
do have to dig. And like he said, I don't want to have to dig.
which I
But
have a lot of respect for.
this is probably why I stick to the ones I know are gonna deliver. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I see a new Griselda project, I go immediately to check it out. Shout out my nigga RJ Payne. When I see him drop some new shit, I immediately go check it out. Shout out Styles P. When I see him drop some new shit, I automatically go check it out. Like I got my select few that I know. If I see, they drop some new
And
shit,
big
then
respect
I
for
go
that.
look.
Because there's a lot of people who have a similar opinion to you who are just unaware that all the people you just mentioned are actually producing music and that there is still people of the era
Hell
that
yeah.
are still trying to make it
Yeah,
back.
nah, I get exactly
Ransom.
what you're
Shout
saying.
out my nigga
Swave is
Ransom.
saying
Ransom
like
got
he
some new
wants
shit out.
he wants to be able to have the variety in the mainstream and it not just be just like the sounds that
Selective.
are in the mainstream right now.
Well,
Yeah. But real quick, Swave. So like let's go back to 16, right? So 16, like you're saying is when you first start recording for the first time or like around there?
Yeah.
So
how like walk us through this journey like from right, because like we now know that you've like where you came from with your like what you're approaching it as is from looking at your older brother and the Harlem. When did it start expanding beyond that?
So from that point, from the parks, it expanded because the park died after a while. There was no more jams. The DJ stopped coming out. That shit died. Everything comes to an end. So after the parks, it was high school. It was the banging on the tables. It was the lunchroom. It was me battling niggas around the way. It was the outside. It was Harlem. It was battling block to block. Oh, this nigga, ayo, Swave, ayo, Swave, this nigga over here on 19th Street thinking he's nice, B. Nigga said you can't fuck with him, B. Who said that? Ayo, what's up? Trying to battle? It was
Big
facts. All over. It was cutting class and going to the lunchroom and banging on the tables and playing spade. It was that. From that, I met other rappers. I met other niggas. We used to go to fucking other high schools and rap. And Smith and Wesson was in art and design. And you know what I mean?
That's dope.
We used to go to they called it Galvatron graphics. You feel me? Where all the D-Steps went.
Yeah.
Out there.
That's
they called
classic New York City gang shit. The Decepticons is an old New York City gang.
Right. It went from that, and then from that, starting little rap groups. From that, trying to shop little demos. See what I mean? From trying to shop demos, now you gotta really record shit. So then that became, makeshift studios. My nigga Pro was the master of the dubbing, recording on the cassette and flipping over. I don't know how he used to do it, but he used to make a 4-track out of a cassette tape. You know what I mean? And we used to record like that, and it would sound. The sound would be good for us, but we used to play it for niggas when we started really trying to get that shit around there. Niggas used to be like, it gotta sound better. So then that was when niggas started trying to invest in studios. And then, Pro took his money and started buying equipment. So next we built the studio. Yo, go sit down, man. I'm doing an interview. I know what it is. All right, thank you. Bye. Yes. And
you told them
from that to songs sounding better. Now demo sounding better. Oh shit, we actually got a meeting. We got a nigga that want to sign us here. We Oh, we had a little independent deal here. Oh, he put us in the studio. He's paying for it. Oh, we banging out songs. It went, you know what I mean? Then it went to underground hip hop. It went to 88 hip hop. It went to bragging
88 hip hop is where
okay.
Yeah,
so
like we gotta
you gotta remember.
So check it. So check it real quick, Swave. Like, you gotta remember,
I'm a member of Stronghold. 88 hip hop where I met Stronghold, Poison Pen, and
but peep game, right? Like you gotta explain these things, right? Because like Holden is in Montreal,
born and raised in Montreal, never been to New York City.
Okay. All right, well,
we have people from Norway who peep it. There's like people around the world who might come through.
In New York back in the day, we used to have these little different underground outlets. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get to EO Dub. EO Dub is the savior now, but before EO Dub came, we had places like Lyricist Lounge. We had 88 Hip Hop. We had Bragging Rights. We had Hook.com. Poison Pen used to hold.
Describe these though. Like
this is why you playing now. You playing with me. Yeah, and it was just like little hangout.
Describe what each one is, right? So like 88 hip hop is what? Is that like a radio
88
station?
Hip Hop was like a radio station where they used to have like MCs come down and like they used to battle. Like Eminem used to be there. Like a lot of people came through 88 Hip Hop. Like it was like Evil D used to be one of the DJs. They used to put MCs together. They used to have ciphers. Also in Harlem, we used to have this thing called Mad Ciphers. That's where Jay Mills and Vado and all them niggas came through. You know what I mean? So that's that era. After high school, it was a lot of that. There was a lot of bouncing from Lyricist Lounge, hanging out at Lyricist Lounge, meeting. Like I remember seeing Most Def in them before he was famous back then, coming through all those. Shout out to my nigga Wordsworth and Punchline, and you know what I mean? Them niggas stayed up in there.
I remember meeting them in Washington Square Park because they used to stay down there.
Washington Square Park was another place, nigga. Washington Square Park was a fucking meetup spot for MCs. Niggas used to be in there going crazy.
Washington Square Park has been in a lot of movies. Matter of fact, the most famous movie I can think of is I Am Legend with Will Smith. That house that he's staying in, that whole park area that he's looking out on is Washington Square Park. Right. There's other movies that are like that it's depicted better in or more artistically and beautifully, but like Washington Square Park is like a place downtown that's like so we meet up.
And then we also had like a radio station like Stretch and Bobito. We had 89.9, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they was showing love to a lot of underground artists, you know what I mean? Then we had shit like Vibe Magazine. And Vibe Magazine used to do they had a spin-off magazine called Blaze. Blaze used to do battles and shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying all this to say that the underground scene in New York for me was lit at one point. It's like my nigga. And used to New Eureka, Joe's Pub, Lions Den, like all these places, right? We used to go there for showcases, battles, whatever. And then when all that died down, EO Dub emerged. And EO Dub just ran the reins because they ain't never shut down. And they were the longest running forever. They still doing it. They online now. Like they still doing it. Rest in peace, Vice Versa.
Props.
I love you, boy. Rest in peace, Vice. We miss you, boy. And them niggas, that was the EO Dub to this day. Probably I give them credit for a lot of MCs that I see doing the thing now. You know what I mean? They opened the door for a lot of people, including myself, yo. Like even more. Like the showcases, the MC challenges, help niggas get their skills up. Relax. You know what I mean? And it was just like a lot of credit goes to them. So this
just gotta give them credit because we are literally on their Zoom right now as we're on their channels and stuff. So shout out. That's how to this day end of the week is that we're
big facts right now. Big facts. It started in 2001 and it didn't ever end.
Yeah, so you know me coming up through all that, I was an MC, I was a battler. I won one of the MC challenges. I performed at EO Dub 1,000 times. I battled at motherfucking Bragging Rights back in the day. I battled at Hook.com back in the days. I won a Nels Barbershop battle hosted by 105.1 back in the days in Harlem. I won 2 years straight. They didn't even let me compete the third year. The third year, my nigga Shells won the third year. Shout out my nigga Shells.
Shells from BET's Freestyle Friday Battle Championship, and what else did he do?
And then 106 in Park started Freestyle Friday. Fight Club popped up, battling, smack DVDs, battling took a whole turn. And then I just kind of went that way. And not for nothing.
Hold on. This is wild. Yo, you skipped over wild shit.
So I'm like, so it's like, okay, fair enough. We can skip over like.
I'm gonna just keep going. So just
all good. But because like with the music, for example, right? Like, look, like there's wild, look, I already slightly mentioned the fact that you be doing shows with Tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't even think that was like, if I'm not mistaken, like the way that you had gotten a majority of your early fame in making music, right? Wasn't that like through working with like Cannibal Ox or something like that? And
not even. Be real with you. My early music days was between CVs and Stronghold. Like I did a lot of music with Breeze Overflowing. Me and Breeze put on a project called Outpost together. And CVs, me, Ike, and Pro, we was always a group. So a lot of my music did. Don't get me wrong. Now I went on tour with Cannibal Ox in 2005. Me, Cannibal Ox, J Live, and we went on tour. We did 32 cities around the US. We was going for like a month and a half. So that was like the biggest tour I was ever on. Tour bus. It was the longest time I was away from New York, straight through. So but Cannibal Ox, shout out to Vast and Border, those my niggas, and I did songs with them, but I didn't come out with them. Nah, I did. Vaz from Harlem. I always knew Vaz, but me and him ain't really do music. So both of us was already known already.
This is what I'm talking about right here. I need to know this. You know what I mean? Like, look at I have my own misperceptions of my own brother. You know what I mean?
The first niggas I started doing music with when I came in the underground was Stronghold niggas. Poison Pen, Breeze Overflowing, Lifelong, and you know, one I choose not to mention type shit.
So here's what's up, Swave. Have you ever tried to Google this tier of people and actually find information on them today? I don't know if you've ever tried to do that.
Who?
Any of the names you just
homies.
mentioned. Anybody.
I Google my niggas all the time. I ain't do it in a while, but I always check my niggas accolades.
But have you ever like looked into their come up and tried to like look into them?
That's the thing. I think he's trying to get to we don't got cool Wikipedia pages like that, bro. Our Wikipedia pages are not descriptive enough at all.
I was just about to say, I don't dive that deep on Google. I know these niggas, so
that's the thing. For the rest of us, we are.
That's for y'all to do. Like
that's what I'm saying. It's not out there.
That's what we doing.
So Sway,
what right now.
What I'm trying to get to is, it's not actually there. So like when you say Stronghold, it's like, wait, you try Googling Stronghold rap group, man, it's going to be a complicated mess to find truth. So when we have the opportunity to talk to you and hear your story, it's like, man, this is like actual history.
We talk with Penn and with Breeze too. Like we sat down with both of them. You know what I mean? But like it's good that everybody gives their pieces of the puzzle and their, you know what I mean? Like your journey through it. You know what I mean? And your perspective through it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Zoo and Zoo, rest in peace, Vice. Zoo and Pro both were also on the show, and when they give like their perspective of like the unition and forming of EO Dub, right? at the end of the week, like it's different perspectives.
Wildly different. Each
so
one of them
wildly
has
different.
focuses
Wildly
that they cared about.
So,
So,
that's Dominil's bagging up and all that.
Yeah, that's Dama there.
I love that girl. I swear to God, I love her to death, bitch.
You already know.
Real. I love you, girl. You hear me? I'm looking at her bagging up. She ain't. That's the type of shit I'll be on.
Nope. Domino never miss a step. Like, I mean, I just, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna be out here giving up people's personal business. But you mentioned it. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, but just on top of that, when you describe the New York underground scene of that era, like how much, like you try to learn this stuff, but you're getting this like outsider perspective. But just to hear you list all these places bubbling and this picture of you bouncing around, performing over here, battling over there, like. I mean, by the time I'm like old enough to give a shit about any of this, it's like 2010, 2008-ish, right? So a lot of this stuff is already past and it's this new YouTube internet shit. Now imagine it's 2021 and you're trying to go back. Like, thank God I have this great guided tour.
I got you, Swave, real quick, right? So like I got you. Like, give me the first off, which one is it that came first? Was you going up to all these like places on your own? What formed a union and a group and a bond with Stronghold, or was Stronghold a thing that you formed, like you guys formed together before you even ended up going out to these places? You know what I mean?
Well, nah, I never. To be real with you, as tight as I was with Stronghold, I never really rolled to shop demos with them. Each, like a lot of people in Stronghold had individual deals. Poison Pen dropped the album, Breed of a Phone dropped the album. Yeah, I know Immortal Technique. He's soaring all across the world. You know what I mean? Everybody had dropped individual albums, had individual deals. Like, we never really shopped a demo together, not to my knowledge. And if they did, I wasn't there. So my demo shopping came from me being with my group CVs, IP and Pro, and me being by myself, a solo artist. So
what's it like to shop demos even? Because as you say this, like for me, I get a foggy idea of what it's like to shop demos, but just hearing you describe this stuff, I'm telling you, people are very interested in this kind of content.
Man, shopping demos was exhausting. Recording the tape. First of all, we used to do cassettes. Recording and going down and hanging out in front of them labels and just hoping you catch somebody that's gonna take the shit and go upstairs and listen, and or word of mouth, or we doing little showcasing and networking at the shows and just trying to meet that one person that's gonna get this shit in the right hands to the right ears to listen to. That shit was exhausting, B. But it was a nonstop hustle. You know what I mean? Even going down to 42nd Street and trying to bump CDs off, or even if you're giving them out, just trying to get somebody, hanging out in front of studios, waiting for somebody to pull up. I used to hang out in front of Quad, you know what I mean? Until that Tupac shit happened, that shit stopped all that.
That's some very real-time information, by the way. You know what I mean? Well, I wasn't in the
true story. Me and IP and Pro was in Quad recording when Tupac got killed. When Tupac got shot. He didn't get killed that time. When that day happened, Tupac got shot in the lobby. We was upstairs on the 4th floor. That's fact.
Crazy. That's crazy.
We was there that day, my nigga. We was there, and we just came back from getting Popeye's chicken.
I love that Popeyes was always a staple. You know what I mean? Popeyes always been a staple. That Louisiana.
We was eating chicken in the studio when the engineer came in and said, "Yo, it's mad police outside." We didn't know what was happening. We still when we went downside, they let us leave the building, but they ain't let us back in. We still ain't know what happened. I ain't find out what happened until the next day. It was all over the news and everybody. Nigga like Tupac got shot. We was like, oh shit, we was there.
Yo, that's amazing. Like just as a story, all of that, like that's incredible.
That is incredible.
That moment.
That is crazy.
Like
That's
it kind
This
of
is what I'm saying. Like, so you came across that in your group CV with IP and Pro. Like, so
yeah.
you was doing a lot of running around with them mostly,
Yeah,
and by yourself.
I keep it real. The majority of the time, I was with Pro and Ike. Like that's my group. To this day, we still consider ourselves. If we were to pick up the mic and get it going again, it's gonna be us three. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's still CVs, nigga. To this day, we were just talking about doing.
Listen, bro. I know all this, right? Like I know I'm playing dumb because like that's the whole point of like
all this.
the only way people gonna know our stories if we start like telling them. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no fucking archive for none of this shit. You know? Right. And so like I think that part of like what I'm trying to do here is like archive as much as I can with the bros and like make sure that there's like something out there in the world that like, you know, cements and like says like, yeah, like this was really actually happening. We were there. Like you were there, Penn was there, Breeze was there, Zoo was there, Pro was there. And if one of y'all wasn't there, one of y'all was there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the whole point. And like this is the way that we can like pull together this painting and this picture that I don't think that there's like enough information out there in the world for, you know what I'm saying, for people.
And the other part of it is like a lot of us became artists way after this foundational period happened, we can call it, right? And so we don't know what happened back then. We know a lot of complaining. We know a lot of things. And I can tell you one thing, for me as a human, going through this process with people and learning about how much you hustled or the various things and how young you were with the various accomplishments that are pretty fucking incredible. Like at your like, you know, just in general, the multiple facets to your life. Like these are all things where you process it and you're like, okay, so if I really want, it's kind of like when you heard the bars and had to step your game up when you heard Nas. I hear these stories and I'm like, bro, I got to step my life game up. Like, you know, and a lot of people, the more of these stories they get, we both get the benefit of the documentation of the history, which is actually really important. But the other side is everyone who sees this, be able to listen to your life story and benefit from it, which is just incredible because you're that interesting and you're that accomplished with what you've done. And this is what you barely started your career and it's already hella grind, hella hustle, hella discipline, hella fucking accolades in the sense of productivity, effort, and longevity. Because if you start at 4 and you're already up into like the early adulthood, that's already more than a decade of grind, my guy. That's fucking incredible.
Facts. I was not disciplined young enough to do any of that. Like I played little league and I was like, my dream was to be a baseball player and that did not last because immediately like girls came into the picture and it was like, oh, spending all my time chasing ass, I guess.
Yep. I took to the video games pretty heavy when I was young, not into other things as much. So like it just also gives the context that like, yo, if you're in your 30s and you're at 5 years into the game, you're kind of going against peoples that have done this for multiple decades in terms. So it's like adding these perspectives to the greater collective just helps. So I just appreciate you sharing these stories from this part of your life where it's super hard to otherwise find.
You know, I'm here, you know, we all here to inspire somebody. Hopefully we can, you know, by doing something we do gonna inspire somebody. So hopefully you inspire them in the right way. You can inspire somebody to do some dumb shit. You know what I mean? Hopefully you inspire them in the right way.
Yeah. Nah, I think that's what we do here.
Damo? How much?
I'm gonna DM you.
You shouldn't even have answered that.
That's fair, man.
So, all right. So, listen. So, we're at like you shopping demos with CBs and the crew, right? And around this time is when you link up with Stronghold as well.
Yeah. I linked up with Stronghold through Breeze Ever Flowing, who was the founder. And me and Breeze actually started Breeze is like a mentor to me, and as well as to everybody else. Breeze took me under the wings as far as being a solo artist underground, because I was always with CB, but I branched off and started doing a solo thing, and it was Breeze who kind of walked me through the processes underground. Me and put out a project together, and we did a little mini tour to promote the project. It was called Outpost, and I learned a lot from Breeze. And then Breeze used to battle as well, and he used to tear niggas' heads off. So I learned a lot from Breeze as far as battle rap as well. So that was my nigga all around, you know what I mean? And he kind of walked me into Stronghold.
Mm.
And Stronghold was already like a team and already like had members and shit. Like, tell me what who was already in it.
An underground crew full of champions. Like everybody in Stronghold was a winner and something. You know what I mean? Breeze Everflowing was a battle champ. Poison Pen done won battles. C-Ray's Walls was like a battle king at the time. Lifelong. DJ Static done won beat battles and DJ battles. Technique used to fly off the handle killing niggas. So it's like Stronghold was like a clique full of champions, B. So I felt right at home with them niggas because I was a champ, you know what I mean? I used to walk through niggas in karate tournaments. I used to walk through niggas in battles. I still walk through niggas in battles. Like it's
right, because you're also doing martial arts this whole time as well. So you're not just rapping, you're doing martial arts tournaments at the same time.
Yeah, I used to, I used to destroy tournaments. Like let me tell you something, B. Just off. I recently, like about in May, I went to a funeral of one of my old senseis, right? And Sensei Burke, right? And I didn't expect this at all, but his daughter had read all his final words, and he had like a list of the top 10 students he ever, well, not the top, he had a list of his top students he ever taught. And he had me at number 11. And he said I was masterful. That shit made me cry, like.
Yeah, nah, you stuck with him. Like your student, what would you call that? Tutelage under him, like was inspiring to him as a teacher.
So that's
some shit to cherish, you know?
Yeah, that's some shit I do cherish. And then, rest in peace to Sensei Burke, and then my father, rest in peace to him. Right. The code that he raised me under was under that kind of law. So, I'm bred a certain way. Anybody that knows me would tell you I'm bred a certain way. You know what I mean? I'm a protector for family and friends, nigga. Like,
I mean, before you come on and do the interview, right? Like we do an hour before the show and shit, always, right? And we like go through people's like music. Like we interviewed Jay Smooth, the homie Jay Smooth, so like, he don't rap, right? So what we sat there and did was like watch some of the talks that he's done, like his TED Talk and other things like that. With people who had battles, we sit there and watch some of their battles. So we watched your battle with Danny, and then we watched your battle with Tink the Demon. You know what I mean? So like, and then we played Hell Up in Harlem before we switched over to the Zoom and whatnot. But like we were playing your battles, and I was telling him that you're kind of like, you're not a part of, you battle on URL, but it's not like you're a part of their like staff of MCs that like battle regularly. And that when they bring you in, freelance killer, exactly what I kind of described you as. And I was like, yo, he's kind of the guy that stops the bullies. He stops whoever's the bullies, they bring in Swave to bully the bullies. And that's how I describe you as. And like, I think that's a fair description.
It was super interesting to like watch, just because your body language is so like powerful in these battles. Like these guys were coming through with bars, and I was like listening to it, and I'm like, man, this Swave guy don't believe shit. Like you just had this look on and you literally would just be like, almost like you'd want to laugh, but you were just holding it in and just shaking your head or whatever. And then I'd watch just like how all of your lines were like laser targeted at your opponent, like specific for them. And
Yeah,
none
I don't really do filler.
most of their lines,
a lot of filler and all that. I don't really do filler, nigga. I'm gonna tell you about you to you. That's my goal.
I thought that was really cool. Honestly, just as like a person who does, I don't know. I'm not a fan of hearing things that sound like I heard it before. That's just me as a human. So I know a lot of things or whatever. So listening to some of the bars from the other dudes, it was like, man, he could have said that to me, and he might have if he battled me. Not that I battled, but he might have said those exact bars to me just because they would have worked on any human. And I was like, nah, that's an interesting like contrast of the skill you bring to the table. But then I think about how you do martial arts, so you're disciplined. But also you're at 14 being given quality control on your rhymes, telling you how to up your game and shit. And I'm like, okay, so it makes sense how all this time later it's like, nah, he's not gonna fuck around. And it's probably
Concise.
to do it. You could
And
probably
martial arts always and appreciation of Bruce Lee, martial arts study. I'm pretty sure that there's
plus I come from an era when niggas was nice, B. Couldn't hang around these niggas and not be nice, bro.
Yeah, big facts. Now you were part of if Breeze put you down with, you know, Stronghold, and it has these MCs that you listed off, you know what I mean? Like these are like, you know, like you said, champions. You know, that speaks to the cloth that you come from. You know what I mean?
Immediately in my head, I'm thinking, I'm not about to be the slouch.
Yeah.
You understand me? All y'all niggas is champions, and y'all want, okay, y'all put me down with this group, and y'all all champions, and y'all think I'm gonna come in here and slack off? Nah, y'all not about to be talk about me like, yo, why this nigga? No, what's about to happen is y'all about to say, yo, this nigga Swave is the nicest nigga. And that was my goal, to make niggas that's already the nicest niggas look at me like one of the nicest niggas.
I like that. All right, so part of also why we wanted to run it back is because, I mean, you're an active battler to this day, right? That's what I understand. And you kind of blitz through the whole beginning of your battle rap career like in about like 5 sentences maybe. So I feel like there's a lot of history of your career that we could be discussing a little bit. Like I don't know a lot about Blaze battles. That's not the simplest thing to find. It's a lot of forums. It's a forum topic. Forums are a weird thing to go through in 2021.
Good luck finding Blaze battle. I'm pretty sure you two got everything. Blaze battles is
they're up there. They're just all broken up and on different channels and different places.
You also have to know what you're looking for, right? Like you have to know what you're looking for. And so the part where you learn what you're looking for is the complicated part.
I know one of the most famous Blaze battles is my nigga Breeze. He battled my man Pumpkinhead. Rest in peace. I think that's on YouTube. You can pull that up.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested in this moment about your journey through all of this. So as you're making the music and shopping the demos, you're also involved in battling at this time in a more formalized way, like in that part of the scene. And not many people have described what it's like in that era that much. So I was hoping you could kind of walk us through a bit of your experiences as the inceptions of what would lead to Grind Time and Fight Club and all this stuff was happening.
Walk you through the battles with the trend.
Well, like your experiences with it. Like you were involved
going through the fight clubs and all that.
Yeah, like
I didn't know that you was at Fight Club too.
Yeah, I did Fight Club too. Fight Club, that was just when Fight Club popped up. It was just the thing that I kept hearing about, and it's like all these nice niggas was doing it, and oh, you had to be invited. It was exclusive only, like, and it just started. Like, I keep it real. Fight Club was an ego thing for me. Cause it was like, yo, what y'all trying to say? I'm not invited, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Fight Club, like, that's when Fight Club started for me. And my first couple Fight Clubs, I went as a spectator just to see if they was gonna try to front, like, oh, you can't come in. Like, I kept hearing it was invite only. So I remember they had some secret location shit. I wound up getting the location. I went down there dolo. And when I went down there, I started seeing mad niggas I knew. Mad niggas from Washington Square Park, mad niggas from the hood, mad niggas from battling in Harlem. Like, I just started seeing faces. T-Rex and, you know what I mean, Mook and little niggas I've been seeing grow up around the hood all my life. Like, oh, y'all down here? Oh, nah, niggas ain't front on me. So then they opened up. Ain't nobody say nothing. I walked right up in there and I watched. Fight Club kind of changed my life because I was looking at niggas bet, niggas rapping, niggas was smoking in there, niggas had money on the pool table. It was just like a whole atmosphere that was just like, oh, nah, I like this. You feel me? Oh, and it's hood. And oh, shit. Oh, niggas is arguing. Niggas might fight. Oh, ain't nobody gonna fight though. Oh, all right, take it outside. All right, but it was love. You know what I mean? Aggressive nature, but love. You know what I mean? I liked it. I got involved immediately. I spoke to who I got to spoke to. I wound up battling this nigga named BK. Shout out to my nigga BK, white boy from Brooklyn. Me and that nigga went like 9 rounds, boy. They couldn't decide a winner. We were just gunning. You know what I mean? I battled a couple other niggas that probably nobody, but I destroyed these niggas. And then I was trying, and then they started getting up on MTV. So I started going down there trying to get up on there. I didn't manage to get on MTV. That's when they were focusing on certain niggas like Sirius Jones and the Gins, and you know what I mean. They had certain, yeah, they had.
You said you didn't manage to get on MTV.
Nah, I ain't never got on MTV.
Yeah, no, they were very. That was not a. They. I mean, when you look at it, it was like what, one battle an episode. Yeah, and it was always like.
Shout out to International P because he definitely started a wave, and I think I think him and my boy Direct, Smack, Poison Pen, all these niggas is credited for the way battle rap is now.
Yes,
because they all had a era. They all added to battle rap by ushering their own era. Poison Pen was the first nigga I seen throw a battle event. You know what I mean? Poison Pen was the first nigga I seen throw an event where it was just a battle. Like I went to a hook.com battle event. Like I participated in a hook.com battle event. You know what I mean? Poison Pen put that together. So that shit was just, and then, you know, Smack had the DVDs in his era. International P had Fight Club. He had the little secret location link up event type shit. You know what I mean? And then Direct started this online shit. Like, so all them niggas have their little, that's like my Mount Rushmore for the, you know what I mean?
For the godfathers of this battle rap shit.
Of the beginnings, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, because there was we know goddamn well, right? Because you've spoken about history in hip hop, right? So it's not to discount all the battle rap history that happened before that, but what we modern day now know as battle rap was formed through those people that you mentioned and their accomplishments and the things that they did. What people now know as battle rap, like battle rap battles that happened in rap and in hip hop is different, and battle rap even back then was totally different, you know, than what it is now, you know.
Right. Yeah. It's totally different. Totally.
Like here's an example. When you just described the entire environment of what it was like to be there from your perspective, it's mad different than the Saracana perspective, which is mad different than the Poison Pen perspective, because you're coming at it from the shit where it'd be like more like what I would think if I was in the room. So I thought that was super cool. Or even the idea of 9 rounds, because nobody could decide. Nobody said that to me before. I'm like, 9 rounds? You had to go that long with it? What?
That shit made, me and BK actually became cool because of the Fight Club. Like I'm cool with BK to the day. We actually did a song together called Torture Chamber. And to this day, like he's a good friend of mine. You know what I mean? Because of that day. Because me and him left Fight Club like, yo, I was looking at him like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, my G. I thought I had you that 3rd round. He was like, yo, I thought I had. Like, we left there laughing, like,
Yeah.
We know we wowed the whole room. Like nobody was like, everybody was like, yo, these niggas is gunning. You know what I mean?
So yeah, that kind of stuff.
That's the kind of energy that we used to put into it.
Right. Just hearing your perspective is so great, and just because this is again, you're the guy I'm watching on YouTube body people, right? So like, I want to hear your story. I want to hear your adventure through this. How did you get there? And it's so fucking cool to hear that you go through. You're like, I want to get into fucking secret.
Okay,
Fuck that. I'm gonna go put that work in.
Hello. Oh, stand the heck out of me.
It's honestly awesome. It's like the best ad libs on an interview you could get. It's
yo,
that was funny. That was funny. I wish I saw it. That was funny. Yeah. Yo, but my battle rap journey. What up? My battle rap journey started with the streets. Battling in the streets. It went from that to poisonpenhook.com. Like battle rap was like a rite of passage. As an MC, if you gonna call yourself nice, you gotta prove that. That's like, hey, baby, how you? Good. Your sister don't never want to give me a hug and all that. She always walk by Uncle Swave, don't say nothing. You come give me a hug. Now you want to give me a hug, I'm screaming on you, all right? I like you too, though. You good? Yeah. For me.
I saw you in my game. I literally did.
All right, listen. Stop yelling. All right, so listen. So, battle rap, it's like a boxer. You can't say you're the best pound for pound if you ain't fighting nobody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Floyd couldn't call himself the best pound for pound if he ain't put 50 niggas on their ass. You understand what I'm saying? So, who am I to say I'm the nicest rapper? Who are you to say you the nicest rapper?
Prove it.
Nah, you ain't nicer than me, nigga. Prove it. Let's see. That's what battle rap was. I always had a warrior spirit, but they martial art. Battle rap now to me is like, I don't fight in tournaments no more, so these are my tournaments. These are me getting on that mat and whooping ass.
I mean, I'll tell you this. I love that you said it, right? Because like I always say, like when I liken battle rap to something, it's always like MMA, because it's so many mixed styles and shit. And it's like boxing in the sense that it's always boxing and MMA, it's always one man in the ring. Like people could be coaching the fuck out of you in your ear and shit. But when you get punched in the face, it's just you getting punched in the face all by your goddamn self.
Mike Tyson said it. Everybody got a plan till you get punched in your face.
Yeah, exactly. And battle rap is like that, you know, where like ain't nobody gonna take them hits for you when you in that ring. It's just you by yourself. You know what I mean? And you know, it's like a one-man sport to me in that. And
it says something
like,
about
respect.
you to me. It says something about your character, man. It says something.
Yeah.
It says something if you can get in there and take that kind of punishment or give it.
Yep.
Or both.
Yeah.
It says something, you know, overly sensitive people shouldn't battle. You ain't got the skin for it, don't do it. If you feel like you can't get in there and battle without wanting to fight a nigga afterwards, just beat it, my nigga. This ain't for you. You know what I mean? Go join boxing. Go join MMA. Go join some shit where you can really fight a nigga. If you know what I mean, you want to fight. You don't want to rap.
Yeah.
You want to fight. So go do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you can't find the words and you can't articulate yourself well enough to like hurt my feelings the way that I can hurt your feelings with my words, that's on you to deal with.
Or even and with that being said, even if you hurt my feelings, if I hurt your feelings, you got to be able to take that.
Take it, yeah.
Toughen that skin, nigga. I got to take you doing it. You understand me? It's not. It's a two-way street.
Look at Dama down there.
You know what I mean? And look, I let niggas say a lot. Like there are certain lines. We human. You know what I mean? I don't talk about niggas' kids. You can pull up any Swave Sevah battle. You ain't never hear me disrespect nobody children. I don't do that. I really don't want niggas doing it to me. I love my kids, you hear me? And I might roof your head for that. I'm not even gonna hold you. You know what I mean? I don't care about I kill your kids. That's typical shit. But when you start personalizing, saying my kid's name in your bars, I kill Tyson, I kill Shin, nigga, I'm gonna roof your head. Nigga, don't personalize my shit. Don't throw my kids' names in your shit, bro. Yeah, that's something different to me. My dad, don't disrespect PH, don't disrespect Sean Price, don't disrespect JR, don't disrespect vice versa, don't disrespect my brother Mo, don't disrespect my father.
Yeah.
Leave the dead alone. I ain't gonna tell nothing about you don't hear me doing that. If I could do it, you could do it. I ain't gonna say nothing about your dad. Oh, your mother died, you won't hear no mother bars from Swave. I got respect like that.
Yeah.
Plus, there's 1,000 ways I could kill you. I ain't gotta do that.
And I was about to say, that goes to show the skill level, though. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
That's something that I say about like with comedians, where like they say like they complain a lot nowadays. I feel like about like cancel culture. It's like, yo, you can you're a comedian, like you're good with words, like you can work around things. Like there's ways to still, you know what I mean? Get a punchline across and express yourself. Like, if anything, it should just be a challenge. You know what I mean? And like a great writer is always gonna rise to a writing challenge. You know what I mean? And that's what you're displaying by being able to do that. Where it's just like, yo, I don't have to rely on the crutch of being able to hurt you by mentioning these things that I know are clearly disrespectful and will clearly hurt you. I can hurt you by breaking you down as a human being and like explaining you to you in a way that you clearly have not been explained to yourself about yourself.
In this battle rap, I'm nicer, nigga.
Yeah.
That's also like the thing is like when I'm listening to you go about it, you're like a black belt with the approach. Like I'm watching you like fuck up and shit, and I'm like, I don't know if he's actually fucking up. I think this is all a thing to disable his fucking opponent. Because at first I was like, what the fuck? Why is he doing this? And then I'm watching your opponent's reaction to it. No, but it wasn't just that one. He did it in the other one too. I'm like, hold up. He's like, yo, I fucked up. Let me run that. And I'm like, that's weird because he's so precise with everything. And then I realized, nah, it fucks your opponent up. They get over cocky and they're not expecting you. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, this dude's like coming at it with like character fucking method acting level shit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, people can't do that. And I realized a lot of people, especially trend hop, I actually gave a presentation at work on this fucking subject. People are boring because they trend hop because they're not like actually interesting. Whereas like the level of skill and precision you bring with the bars, but not just that, the level of intelligence you bring to the surgical attack it's very hard to do that. You know, like to actually achieve that level of mastery where there are 0 wasted bars and there's no filler. And then you could just have fun with the crowd and tell people to stop or you just everything's part of the show. And I'm like, nah, people can't just do that. That's why.
Now you were quieting that crowd though a lot, but they were going crazy in that Tink battle. It was because Tink was on a serious. I was having a conversation with Cool Man Logan off air before you came on and shit, talking about you and your style and like talking about like Tink, like exactly describes what I was saying, like where they bring you in to bully the bullies. They bring you in to bring an end to some people's streaks sometimes.
You can't bully me, dog.
Like Tink the Demon, like before you battled him, he was really like on a hot streak. And like it was like after you battled him, like people did not look at him the same no more. Like when he looked like a tough guy before, like he didn't look like a tough guy anymore. You know what I mean?
A lot of people doubted me in that battle too. A lot of people thought he was gonna kill me. I was getting a lot of hate. So about Tink gonna kill me, Tink gonna retire me. He was talking crazy shit on the radio show. A lot of that shit was because a lot of what I did to him was because of that. Like he was going too crazy. Like y'all got me fucked up. Like Tink is not on my caliber of a rapper. He's good, but if y'all really want Swave to turn up, I you know what? I did a whole radio show before the battle when the radio host got mad at me because I wasn't even talking. He was like, "Yo, you ain't saying nothing." I'm like, "Nah, I'm with the show, niggas. I'm tired of talking."
But that's our claw.
Oh my gosh, it's like battle rap is so much like wrestling and the way the WWE does his promos and shit. I love it a lot. And I love your fucking approach to this game, man. Like you just have this like style that you approach it with. And it's even in the interview, like you're getting props from the homie Lindell that you are the best interview so far. And this motherfucker has copped like over 100 with me. So you're beat out 100 plus people in his mind to be the best interview so far. Just to just go. That's how fucking
you
good
have
you
been
are.
very interesting.
Yo, it's mad fascinating. Your whole
Yeah,
life.
nah, absolutely. Yeah, yo. And I think that it's dope that right, like there's certain things that like all of us kind of have as tropes, right?
Right.
Being from New York City, right? So like we all kind of fucking like when you started rapping, you were rapping by high school. So like we all kind of rap in the school to the lunchroom table. You know what I mean? We all had to go block to block in our region and establish our respect and dominance, or we couldn't rap to our friends. You know what I mean? So like there's certain these tropes, but then there's also those things that make it unique, right? Like Breeze when he's like talking about like his mother's culture and I believe I don't want to incorrectly state what his mother's culture might be, but I believe that it might be Belizean or something like that, right? But the point is like it's the different little things that make everybody's sameness different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like your discipline being like martial arts versus, you know what I mean? Versus like everybody else, like maybe being like, yo, a lot of people come with my parents,
or even,
you know,
or even just compared to like sports, right?
When we had Blimes on, you know, you remember Oblimey, you know what I mean? You know, like her dad was like a indie, you know, musician. We've had a lot of people come on, you know, that they had parents from out here too, that, you know, parents were musicians, jazz musician or you know, whatever. But so for your discipline to not be that it comes from like, you know, oh, I've got like come from a family of doing music, right? Like even Penn, when Penn came on, I was wildly surprised that like he was like that he has somebody in his family that like had like a big like disco song, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's like he comes from like a lineage of music almost. You know what I mean? So, right. But like for yours like, to be like, you know, it's not
arts.
It's martial arts. Yeah. Nobody else has come on and said that they've done
that's not even the same as like team sports, right? Like I've talked to people who've done the team sport grind.
Came from the nigga of my environment.
Yeah.
It was more, it's not like I had an artist in my family or nothing. You know what I mean? Actually, I do though, but I ain't know that until I was grown. So, but Phyllis Hyman is my mother's cousin, actually.
Oh, Sevah.
So I found that out later on though. So it's not like that was something that was in my mind.
That influence, that
didn't play a part. So but it was really about the environment. Derek, my brother, outside the parks, battling niggas in the street, my friends, Ike. It was the environments. That was my music influence. And then, you know, hearing certain songs like Big Daddy Kane Raw, Here I Am, R.A.W. That verse made me want to be, that verse really made me want to be a rapper. Like, I want a record deal rapper. Hearing Raw made me say, yo, I want to be a rapper one day. You know what I mean? Because of the way, here I am, R.A.W., a terrorist, here to bring trouble to phony MCs. I move on to seeds, I just conquer and stomp another rapper with ease. Yo, that shit, that whole verse was just like, went crazy. Like, you know what I mean?
That's what makes you,
and then
that's what drives you.
I got a job with the mall making G's, doing some pickup delivery to transport keys. Yeah, they got me like a flunky boy. Yo, that G rap was like the streets. Kang had punchlines. Kang said a line back in the day that fucked my head up for years. This nigga said, put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself. I just say that to niggas back in the day, like, yo, put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself. Like, that shit was just like one of the illest punchlines to me back then, yo.
Yeah, I mean, that was the slang.
It's slick.
You know what I mean? Like, that was
Slick Rick with the stories. You know what I mean? it was just like a mixture of all those songs plus my environment. That was my music influence. You know what I mean? I ain't really grow up with a musician in the house. So
Yeah. No, but I'm saying though, the martial arts what gives your story like where there might be similarities
the warrior
many of us
created first. The warrior in me was created first. And then the
which
warrior,
explains why you're so which would explain why you're so easily adapted to battle rap. You know what I mean? Like,
and then the battle is probably just the warrior cry in me, but the warrior was created first. Like the
exactly.
The on Ghost Swave, that was created first. And then the artist nigga, that came in time.
Well, the artist, technically speaking, right, would have still been there because that's martial art.
It's always been
there. So you're an artist, yeah.
Right.
In another art form.
But if you would have asked me back in the days, like 13, 14 years old, I would have told you, nigga, I thought I was gonna be like an action star, martial artist type shit. Like I thought martial art was gonna be my life at one point.
You was gonna be Wesley, huh?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be the.
You was gonna be out here busting that.
Yeah, right. You know, I'm glad I didn't use it for that.
Nah, yeah, your path was what your path was meant to be. You know what I mean?
My path was what it is. It was supposed to be.
Yo, there's like I could tell you that like same as like when I like talk to Penn, like you know, like I always tell you guys like I think that as humans, right, sometimes it's hard for us to like realize our privileges in life, right? And like a lot of this shit is like a privilege, you know what I mean? And like the fact that you guys have gotten to travel the world and see these huge crowds of like hip hop fans and like that they be into your music when you're up there performing, like that's a privilege, that's a blessing, you know what I mean? And that like these are things that like most of your average rappers that like picking up rap, you know, or make a song, they don't get to have that, you know what I mean? They don't get to have that that championship belt. They don't get to have that championship ring. They don't get to have that jewelry, you know what I mean? And this is all jewelry that you get to have and you get to wear, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's good to like put on your jewelry and flex because it's like, yo, you earned that jewelry, you know what I mean? Like, especially in New York City where you had to be able to wear your jewelry, you know what I mean? Or it's gonna get taken from you. You know what I'm saying? So it literally is like a championship ring, you know what I mean? So it's like this is just like a little bit of that, you know?
Plus, it's really interesting to hear all of your accolades as a human because, like, you watch you come to the battles, and I mean, for me, like, you hear a guy's story, you watch him go do a battle after, and you're like, okay, so like when he says that, like he means that in like a very different kind of way, and to me, it like adds lore, right? Like, I'm super into the idea of lore, and I think it's just dope that you have so much behind it. But on top of that, you make music, which is amazing. Like, it's also very good music. Like, we didn't even really talk about that part that you have like these crazy precise bars and actual songs about things and like a great album, the hell of Harlem or something. I'm sorry, I'm saying it wrong.
Up in Harlem. Yeah, Hell Up in Harlem. That's actually my second. There's a little secret about that album. That's actually my second album. I dropped that album in February of 2020. Right, but I actually recorded that album over 16 years ago.
Say a word.
That's crazy.
Facts.
That's crazy.
So that album was recorded before my first album. My first album is called Son of a One-Armed Man, and it dropped in 2013. That album was recorded in 2005, I believe.
That's crazy, right? My fault. Go ahead, Holden.
No, I was gonna be. That's crazy. Like, why? you got to expand on this.
Now, I recorded it with this crew called with this production team called Parallel Thought out of New Jersey, and at the time they had a production. I had a production deal with them, and I was doing an album with them. we wound up, battling took over for me, and then they wound up doing an album with Tame from the Artifacts that did well for them. Then they did another album with Del the Funky Homo Sapien that did well for them. So they flourished in that. So while they were flourishing in that, I was flourishing in battle rap and doing my thing, touring with Immortal Technique. And I really wasn't thinking about it. But they kept the files, and then they reached out to me about 3 years ago, saying they still wanted to put the album out. Now in my head, I'm like, damn, I recorded that shit when, nigga? But then they did some revamps to the shit. They sent me the shit, and I listened to it, and I honestly liked the shit. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I thought maybe it was just me because I'm listening to me. But this shit is all right, B. I ain't gonna lie. So I said, fuck it, let's drop it. I thought
you made it now. That's how all right it sounds.
And I dropped it. And I got a great, all the reviews I'm reading about it. Niggas love the shit. So,
hey, nah, definitely. Listen, I know that like I had that thought recently, right? Because like before I put out my first Adventure of Super Spicker shit, I had a whole concept for this project called Blockbuster, and it was gonna be like a Blockbuster rental, like, but like DVD and CD, and like all the songs were gonna be named after movies. But then Blockbuster went under, like they went under as a business, and I just felt like it was a bad move all them years. And then I was just like recently, like, these tracks are all still fire. All this subject matter is all still relevant. You know what I mean? So I could understand where you would be maybe like standoffish, and then you hear it and you're like, you know what though? This is good. And people that's the type of shit they're looking for nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely like the album. So we still dropped it. And also another thing about the album is a theme album. Because if you really listen, you ain't gonna hear it. But each song is sampled from a blaxploitation movie.
Yeah, I would not have heard that. I would never have caught that in my life.
Up in Harlem, most of the songs on there, like each song, they kind of taken from blaxploitation movies.
So from like Shaft and Foxy Brown.
Yeah, Hell Up at Harlem, of course, 110th Street, Cotton Comes to Harlem, Cleopatra, The Mac. There's a bunch of them in there, like, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's so.
Those are awesome freaking things to put out there, man. But
the album is Hell Up in Harlem.
Real quick for me, right? For me, because like I had beforehand, I wanted to link him. You and remember the trip to Florida when we went to go battle? There was a mixtape that you had with Ike at that time, and I just could not fucking find that shit.
Oh, you talking about the Heat Rock Monsters Volume 1?
Heat Rock Monsters.
Yeah.
I could not find it. I don't know. Like,
what? We had put it up, and I think it was taken down. And right now, it's crazy because the only way to get that album is coming to see me and Ike, and that's real. But
right.
I think I'm gonna put that back out.
You should put that
probably
out on
on Bandcamp.
That mixtape was crazy.
Yo,
like
crazy.
You could probably do it on Bandcamp.
For me, what I appreciate, like, I fuck with you solo. I love you solo, but you and Ike on a track together is something special. Like the way that like Bugs and Moneybags on the track together is something special. Like there's people that have told me, you know what I mean, that they feel like they like my shit better with me and Jess. You know what I mean? And I get it. Like sometimes when you get that right like mix of two motherfuckers that just sound fucking right and in the pocket together, it's just something special about that.
Like
that compliment. Yeah.
You ain't want to hear Dodge Effect. If each one of them niggas from Dodge Effect did a solo album, we wouldn't have gave a fuck.
That's facts.
I'm lying?
No.
Crazy Scoop did a solo album. You wouldn't even know the name of that shit.
No, but even the Far Side, right? When they lost two people.
If Crazy Drazy or Scoop did solo album, you wouldn't even know about that shit.
But you can
when they Dodge Effects, their first album went platinum.
Yeah.
You understand me? That's what that is. They work too well together, man.
work too well together. And you and Ike P, you know what I mean? Like we'll definitely have on Ike, you know, individually on his own as well. But like I just wanted to let that be known to you. You know what I mean? Like y'all two together to me always sounds like that. That's what a duo should sound like in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of shit that I'm like, I could have easily have seen like the lineage going of like, you know, like Mobb Deep comes and then you see CNN come and then fucking you and Ike together is just like that along that same like great hip hop duo greatness. You know what I mean? Like y'all complement each other on track like really incredibly well and shit. And so you should really put that Heat Rock Monsters because I know that like the music that we played, that y'all played, right, is like that made me like, you know, want to like keep on, you know what I mean? That's what we do with each other, you know, like that's how it always is supposed to be.
Yeah, I gotta actually, you know what? I'm about to put that on iTunes.
You gotta put that on iTunes and on Spotify.
Let's say they do take it down, you can just put it on Bandcamp. And Bandcamp lets
you can put it on Bandcamp. Bandcamp is a solid place for you to go. Fans, like for things, anything that you don't want to like stress the clearing of samples or
I put it on Bandcamp.
Yeah, you put it on Bandcamp.
I saw that you had the last one on Bandcamp too, and I'm like, he's got a Bandcamp. This sounds like a great matchup for this project. So I'm saying, maybe some people throw a few dollars your way.
Yeah, absolutely. Nah, absolutely. You don't put it up for free. Don't do that. Like y'all put in work on that shit. That shit is worth what it will be. You know what I mean? Like that's like a gem that like, you know what I mean? I'll put it. Let me know when you put it out. I'll put the link in the comments of this video once it's up. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Because I'm that adamant about how fire that project was. You know what I mean? I remember PH didn't even put out either of the two projects that he played us on that trip. And I was furious for years at him. Like, yo, why wouldn't you just put that out? Like, one of them was Wild Experimental. And it was before a lot of people went experimental. And I'm just like, fuck, man. Sometimes, like y'all be upsetting me, but I also don't be telling y'all shit. You know what I mean? Like, y'all grown ass fucking men. Fuck, I'm gonna tell you.
I told you to play the game. I ain't gonna tell you to play YouTube. My fault.
No, the dad moments are amazing.
The dad moments are amazing. Yeah.
No, for real. The dad moments just
parenting
like
from an interview.
It's like mad like code switching. You're like code switching like live.
You gotta check it when you see it.
It's just
you know what I mean? Get a leeway.
That's like
get away.
You heard?
It was big facts, man. I appreciate it still.
Good dad Swave, yo. Good dad Swave.
And the level voice, the constant, like
you know
really delivered.
You know what's another thing that we talked about with a previous guest that like I'll bring up to you, right? Because another thing we haven't talked about yet that's big in your career, right, is Team Hami, right? And like we had Excel on a couple weeks ago, you know, and like when Excel was on, like something that like to like bring home the point with you, Holden, right, about like Swave's like image and how he is as a battler, right? Like I was telling Excel, like Team Hami kind of has like a fucking target on their back. Like it's not like they're the like favorites because of this, because of the fact that because they're so believed, because everybody knows because the lore is so very real. There's an animosity amongst the other battlers towards Team Hami, and Swave, like I was there. Something that I don't do a lot, right, is like interject myself into y'all's like life stories. But like I will absolutely interject into the fact that like I was there when there was nobody in Team Hami, and Swave was by himself, and he was forming it, and he just had the idea. And all I kept on telling Swave was like, let me know what I gotta do to be down, bro. Let me know. You know what I mean? Like that was. I mean,
we would form. We just wasn't deep. Like me and
Ike, I know.
Always had Team Hami.
You and Ike.
Ike, and PH.
And
that was
PH.
like the original 4 members. And Cortez.
I remember being there when you still hadn't even discussed the name with you know what I mean, PH yet, or you know, like I remember the conversation. It was in that event that you didn't battle at. That
I'm glad you're saying this because I got it in his head that he made Team Army up. But you know, we
now there's a battle. I'm gonna have to. Now there's a battle. I'm gonna have to live through it.
I mean, he did start it with me, but you know,
he absolutely is your brother. He's always been right by your side. But I remember specifically the conversation, and I remember you birthing the idea in front of me, and I remember looking at you and being like, "That shit sounds like what the fuck it's supposed to be. That sounds like the cloth that what the fuck we come from. Let me know how many bodies I have to accumulate." I remember like expressing it to you. You know what I mean? Like, and so I remember, but
we were dropping them. Yo, listen, Ryan Solomon, at one point, I was dropping bodies left and right, boy. You hear me?
He brought it back.
I was like, I had to think for a second. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Remember, listen, you hear me, though?
Ryan, it's Ryan, right?
At one point, I probably was the most feared nigga.
Yeah.
At one point, I probably was the most feared nigga in battle rap.
Yeah, big facts.
I was dropping everything moving. Niggas wasn't winning rounds with me. I got first of all, I got the most 3-0s in battle rap to this day. I got the most 3-0s. Niggas don't win rounds with me. Look it up.
I mean, I have no reason.
You would just have to sit through the battles, and then you like it. You just.
I mean, I was watching the battles.
YouTube, you know what I mean?
I got my losses. I ain't perfect, but for the most part, I got way more kills than I got notches on my. But that's a measure of a true champion, right? It's like something that like I remember broke my heart as a boxing fan was like watching Felix Trinidad not be able to come back from defeat and not be a real champion. You know what I mean? Where like after he got defeated, Douglas put Tyson on his ass. I was like, what?
I remember being upset at like, yeah, but Tyson at least came back and bust ass. You know what I mean? Like Felix Trinidad, once he got defeated, bro, like he just couldn't win again. You know what I mean? And it was just like,
you know what that was to me? I felt like Whitney took his heart. Took his heart. Yeah, he took his heart in that fight. Snatched in that fight.
And after
he
that,
never want to get another beating like that again.
Yeah. And so that's not. And so that showed me as young, like the measure of a true champion is being able to get beat and being able to come back and beat others from like being able to take that loss and being able to come back and be like Ali, right? Like Ali, you know what I mean? Like being able to have his championships either stripped from him or beaten from him, but being able to come back and being able to beat the people who stripped him and being able to beat the people that maybe beat the guy that beat him and shit like that.
There's
you know
also
what I mean?
one other thing to it that makes you a champion. You went through the evolution of the sport. The adaptations, like there's no way battling today with all the kind of back to that, like what Flacko was saying earlier with regards to the stand-up comedians complaining and being unable to adapt. You just adapted, right, with the tides. And to me, that is what makes you exceptionally interesting.
And I'm still adapted. A whole new era of young niggas coming in gunning. And I'm whooping their ass.
But I really enjoy that. I love how like
I got niggas coming up to me talking about your Swave. I've been watching you since I was 9. I'm whooping they ass.
Yo, it's been that long. That's crazy because now they're like 19 and shit. It's been 10 years.
And I'm whooping they ass. Y'all young niggas, y'all you little buckaroos. I'm sorry. Yeah, this new nigga checking me. Language, daddy. You just messed up the move, man. Go in the room before I smack you in your head, man. Yeah. Word. Language that. Word. But I'm around. I actually got my own podcast now called Restore Order Podcast now.
Also, another thing that you
I'm actually
like
critiquing these niggas now. I'm actually helping keeping battle rap on the right track. Because for a long time, it was a lot of bullshit. It was a lot of fights. It was a lot of niggas touching niggas, going in niggas' pockets, doing dumb shit, ripping. Yo, I seen a nigga pull out a picture of a nigga dead aunt and spit on it. Yo, what? I kill you,
just
dog.
like, bruh, what?
Nigga, we here rapping. I pull out a picture of my father and spit on it. Battle over, bro. I'm going to jail that day. You hear me? I'm going to bye, y'all. I'm going to jail that day. You hear me?
Yeah.
We're not gonna play these games.
Yeah.
Man, that is not the tone I expected it to go with that, but that is a powerful motivation for it. Like you saw a problem and you decided to solve it.
So
I know I peeped it a little bit
live. That was the inspiration for Restore Order. Because I feel like nigga had to restore the order, and I felt like it had to be me, because I ain't scared of none of these niggas. And I know a lot of niggas talk that shit, but a lot of these niggas are soft. They tough on camera, but when it's time to rise up behind the scene and do something to make change, niggas is soft. Nah, that ain't never gonna be me. I'm the same way on camera. The same nigga gonna see in the corner store. Yo, Swave, what up? What up? Dutch, you contest to this. I'm the same
These
way.
Are big facts.
On and off. Dominate.
Listen,
I'm the same nigga.
I had said it, you know what I mean, before you came on, like along with the saying like that you're the guy that can bring in the bullies.
It disappoints me.
Because part of it is because people know that you get it shaken for real. And they might talk like they're willing to fight.
It ain't even always about getting it shaken, my nigga. Getting it shaken ain't even always the thing. It's about integrity to me. Fuck getting it shaken.
Absolutely.
Integrity means a lot to me, my nigga. I want to be able to tell. If I look at you on the screen and you talking heavy shit, and I'm looking at you and it seems so sincere, when I meet you in person, I want to see that same shit.
Sincerity, yes.
I don't want to see the total opposite. And I keep it real. There's a lot of niggas that I got to meet. Like a lot of these new battle rappers, I ain't meet them until I seen them on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take it a certain way about them, and then I meet them and be like, "Nah, this not the nigga I was just." You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't
like
that.
There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of characters in battle rap, and that's that.
That's one thing. That's one thing about me. You ain't gonna never have that problem with. If you meet me, you just gonna come to one evil or conclusion. Either you like me or you don't, nigga. That's it. But you ain't gonna say I'm fake. Fuck out of here.
Facts.
I like that a lot.
We're not doing that. Either I can't fuck with Swave. That nigga, he a funny nigga, or Swave, that's my nigga. It's even one or the other. But you ain't gonna say, Swave a fake, funny ass nigga. You ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm the same way with everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, look, I think Holden probably knows, right? Where like he's like you opened up calling him Ryan Solomon. You know what I mean? I think he meets you in person and you call him Ryan Solomon. He's not gonna be very surprised. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, what am I gonna do with it?
This jives with the guy that I met online.
Listen, if that's how Mr. Swave wants to refer to me, what am I gonna do? It's not even a bad comparison. I fucks with what he looks like. That's just what I'm gonna look like when I'm a little bit older and grayer. You know, like it's nice. It's a good thing to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. Iron rocks his grades. I respect him for it.
What you gotta do? It's the best.
I do too. Absolutely. That's wisdom. That's knowledge. That's life living right there.
Right.
That earned me those grades.
But I also saw your shows
Ryan
live.
Solomon. That's my nigga.
Yeah, I peeped some of your show live, your podcast, which I thought was cool that it's live on YouTube's and whatnot. So we're gonna make sure to link that as well.
Every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on 15 MOFE radio on YouTube. The Restore Order podcast live.
Yo, honestly, I know I popped on and I saw Daylight and it looked like a big conversation. And I'm like, yo, this looks like the most high profile, interesting shit that I should be watching. I have interest in battle rap right now.
By the way, you're doing great work, Swave. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're being, it's very successful, clearly, right? And it's very successful, not because of your name. It's because it's good. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't good, Yeah,
I actually see a difference. I actually see less fuckery in battle rap now.
Word.
And I'm picking on these niggas. I got a thing called Whack Bar of the Week. You say some bullshit and I catch it, I'm blasting you. You will get Whack Bar of the Week, right on my show, my nigga. You gonna get it, bro. And we gonna take that bar you said that was trash, and we gonna play it. We gonna rewind it. We gonna play it again. We gonna talk about it. We gonna tell you why it was trash, and hopefully you never say no shit like that again.
Word.
But we also got the roses segment, where I give niggas like Poison Pen's roses, where I give niggas that been doing they shit that don't get the recognition that they deserve. Direct, we get these niggas they roses. Niggas need they roses. I'm on. Excuse you. Thank you. We give niggas they roses where you gotta have your roses where you can smell them. I'm so yo. Rest in peace, my brother PH. One of the most heartbreaking things to me was that I lost my brother. But another big thing is that after he died, his album was on Billboard.
Yeah.
If his album was that fire to be on Billboard, it should have been there when he was here.
Yeah. Big facts. It hurts to see those things. Yeah. It hurts to see people get love when they pass that they didn't get when they were alive. And it's just like, yo, he was just here. You could have given him love. Like, you really could have. Like, you could have appreciated him. Like, you know? So, yeah, I agree, bro. Like, that's part of, like, right? Like, for me, like, I think that with my age as it's coming, like, that this is what was important to me, is getting everybody's individual stories. You know what I mean? And, like, starting to, like, document, like, our we're bros, but I feel like at the same time, like, there's so much that I learn about y'all sometimes doing this shit, you know, where it's just like I clearly have not asked enough questions as a brother, you know what I mean? But like, I mean, that's okay. I'm still alive, you're still alive, and I can rectify that, and this is me rectifying that, you know what I mean? Like, and now I'm getting to know my brothers better. And I'm also helping to document our stories so that, like, it exists in the world. You know what I'm saying? And
we documenting it right now. This is documented.
Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
Exactly.
But also, Swave, you've lived quite the incredible life and are totally deserving of all said roses and flowers yourself. Look at you, just for being dad of the year, holding it down like that while live on the internet doing that. That alone just adds to the accolades,
son, we had a lot of accolades at the beginning, right? Introducing him, but I'm like sitting here realizing they're like, yo, there's wild shit that I didn't mention. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these other things. Like, there is the fact that you're now like a fucking a host of a show, a podcast host. You know what I mean? Like a excellent podcast.
And one that appears to be impacting battle rap for the better. Let's just say cultural impact.
I credit myself because I squashed a lot of beefs in battle rap. I'm not gonna mention no names because I don't want niggas to spark up again. But a lot of beefs, I squashed that. Restore order. The cloth.
It's really just having
people. You ain't cut from it. You ain't cut for it.
You heard.
But it's just commendable to do that, and it's just worthy of the same recognition you would give to others.
What?
Yeah, no. Do you have what else? Do you have anything like lined up in the future that we should be aware of?
Yeah, like I said.
Interview.
We're almost done, buddy.
We're almost done.
Hold on. Hey, yo, who's the father and who's the son? Hey, who's the father, who's the son? Go sit down. Don't make me get up. Go sit down. Tyson, go sit down.
Don't make me get up. Scary words.
I'm glad that it survives another generation.
This little boy getting a little beside himself. My mother would have knocked me into the next room already.
Yeah, she would have. It was a different era, though. You know
I'd
what I
have had
mean?
an imprint of myself in
crazy?
the wall like this.
Yo, that stare that my mom used to give used to make me shit my pants, yo.
Man,
She used to give a death stare that'd be like, oh my God, I know I'm gonna get my ass beat when I get home. Fuck.
I couldn't even interrupt grown people conversation. What?
Yeah, nah. What?
What?
It was different. It was different.
Ryan Solomon, I don't know if you got that. You from, you know what I mean, Vancouver and all that.
No, I'm in Montreal. That is very different.
Montreal, excuse me.
But to answer your question, yeah, I totally did. I'm not that young. My dad went down that path, so a little bit, yeah. I was like, children are to be seen and not heard.
My dad backhand was like quick draw McGraw, boy. You felt it coming. As soon as you said some dumb shit, nigga, start doing this shit. You felt it coming. He's like, hold up. I know it's coming. Yeah, that's different. He lucky. They don't get that. They don't get that.
Yeah. So, but word, like, so you now are also a podcast host. What else is on the horizon in the future? You know what I mean?
I'm working on another project called the Larry Swave project.
Okay.
This is gonna be another kind of themed out project. I call it Larry Swave for 3 reasons. Three reasons. 2 of them mean the most. One is my father's name was Larry. Rest in peace, my dad. 2 is, y'all know who Larry Davis was. And I feel like in today's time, with the cops killing niggas the way they are, you need a Larry Davis.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm in the same energy wavelength. Yeah. I mean, musically, project, right? I'm not working on that, but I understand exactly where you are.
This project is to invoke the spirit of Larry Davis.
Word.
I'm calling it the Larry Swave project.
Word.
I like that.
So that'll be out next. That's what I'm working on now. I got a battle with Big K October 3rd in Atlanta. I got the podcast on MC Wall. We actually doing it the beat. So I'm gonna kill this nigga. They gave me.
I saw that, and that's why I was asking you so that you could tell me whether or not it was gonna be to beats. Because I only seen the Keith Murray and Fredro Star battle on there, so I don't know if that was just that one time.
It's the same people, but this ain't that.
Okay.
This me and Big K. I don't know.
You and Big K. Let me tell you something. I'm looking forward to it, bro. Like I think that you know, Big K also, you know, is a respectable battler, and he gives off a lot of believability. So like, to see him go up against you is like, I look forward to seeing how it turns out.
Damn, this food is good as shit. My fault.
Nah, you good. We about to end.
No, but I do have a question that's unrelated. Are you wearing an Expos hat?
Yeah, he is.
That's mad fresh.
Yeah, he is.
I like that a lot.
He's from Montreal, yo.
Shit, that's crazy.
Yo, I'm just like saying, like, that's fucking like, I'm like, we were caught it before I hit up my girlfriend.
Yo,
I think he's got an Expos cap on, which is fucking fire, right? Like,
fire too.
Fire. Nah, the Expos was a fire team. I feel bad for Montreal that y'all lost them.
We didn't appreciate them. Are you kidding me?
This is dedicated to my nigga Ryan Solomon, B.
I fucking like that.
Wow.
That's fresh.
Yo, use that as a sound clip for yourself, B.
Got it. Nah, it's good. I went to the last home game ever in Montreal before they left. So
at least you got to do that.
I wasn't a fan or anything, but like, it is what it is.
Yeah. At least you got to do that.
The Expos fitted is like a Montreal hip hop symbol, so it's fucking blessed.
Hey, yo, check this. I love y'all, but I'm gonna have to cut this short. I gotta.
Fast.
No worries, man.
Yo, absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Yo, thank you for Thank you for giving us the time, bro.
I got you.
I just wanted to, you know what I mean? Give you flowers. like the way that you was talking about giving others. You know what I mean? And
Thank you, brother.
I love you. You the homie.
Love you too, my nigga.
I'll talk to you soon. For
Yes, sir. Ryan Solomon, stay up, my G.
Yo, appreciate you for real. And yo, thank y'all for watching out there, the peoples. And shout out End of the Week for the love for hosting this. Make sure you all follow and give love to End of the Week EOW TV on YouTube, and then EOW.com for all the other stuffs. Yo, just appreciate y'all. And yeah, that's it, man. Live long and prosper, everybody. And then I'm gonna go do the raid thing on my side, as I guess somebody is gonna end it on the other side. And we really appreciate everybody for reals.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Dom was over there laughing.